You are listening to the Disruptive Minds Podcast, home of the entrepreneur. Hey guys, welcome back to Disruptive Minds. Today I'm talking to Matt from Wuhoo Group. This is a little bit different of an episode, and I think it's going to be really informative. Matt knows a whole bunch about credit cards. It's what he does for, his day job. And as a 3PL owner, as an e-commerce seller, right, you're buying a lot of different stuff, whether it's postage, whether it's consumables, right, whether it's business services. And these are all things that you can earn points on, which can be a huge boost to your business.
Yeah. So to introduce myself, I'm Matthew. I've been playing with credit cards since I was a little kid with my dad's credit card, but really I didn't get into it until I was 18, got my first credit card to earn 1.5% back on everything. It's a little bit here and there to get some lunch money while I was in college. But once I got my first job, started spending more money because I had real life expenses and made money at least. I saw the power of points, both for a lot of cash back as well as free travel. So what I want to share with you today is that, maybe you're using a card that earns 1% back on everything, but you can earn a lot more. And those are the secrets I just want to share with you guys today.
Yeah, when you're talking about companies that are buying, hundreds of thousands, even in some cases, millions of dollars worth of postage, right? That difference between 1% and 3% can be a whole lot, and it can allow your business to do a lot of really cool things. So what do you really see as like the main benefits of credit card points and ways that you see people, especially business owners, using credit card points?
Yeah, there's a lot of cool, unique ways. I think first and foremost, people use it as cash back, right? 1%, 3%, even more sometimes. That's just a rebate. That's an extra, couple cents, couple dollars now, a couple $1,000s, right, per month necessarily, that you can save back. That's not taxed, which is also very helpful because, it's considered a rebate. But then what's cool and what I help a lot of my clients do is redeem them for travel points. So you've seen probably people fly business class internationally. Maybe you've gone on that flight before and paid maybe $12,000, but instead you can get that for a lot cheaper through points. So what I help both small business owners and families do is use those points to get really luxurious flights, luxurious hotels, again, optimize it for travel, as well as, again, anything for cash back in your business needs.
Yeah, a lot of our listeners go to trade shows and things like that. And, it'd be really nice to upgrade to that extra legroom.
Exactly. Yeah. Instead of paying for that or paying for an upgrade or hoping for an upgrade, why not just buy it outright with points? Then you're not spending any extra money. You're just using that churn from your regular business spend into that free travel.
So what are some of the ways you see business owners can get more points to take advantage of these great rebate opportunities, these great travel opportunities without really spending a whole lot extra money?
Yeah, happy to answer that. First is just optimizing your credit card spend. So what I see a lot of clients, they just get a credit card from their credit union or from a major bank, and they earn 1% back on everything, right? So let's take an example. You spend $1 million a month on this card, you only get 1 million points, which you're able to do a lot with 1 million points, but why not get more? For example, I know a lot of your customers probably have shipping as a huge expense. The Chase Inc. Business Preferred is 3 times back on shipping. So instead of $1 million or 1 million points, right, you're now earning 3 million points if you're spending $1 million. And there's even more ways to optimize that. There are shopping portals, opening new credit cards. You probably have seen, open this credit card. Yeah. Like spend $4,000, get 75,000 points, or spend $20,000, get 250,000 points. When you get the sign-up offer, that's more than 3x. That's potentially 12.5x, 15x, or more. So opening new credit cards also helps get a lot more points. And regardless if there's an annual fee or not, usually in the first year, those bonus points outweigh any cost of the annual fee.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunities there, especially with the sign-up bonuses, right? So like I've seen sign-up bonuses for 50,000, 100,000, 200,000 points, right? Depending on what your spend is and what you're doing as a business. And like you said, if you're buying postage, right, you're buying boxes, right, you're buying inventory, you're going to spend that money anyways.
Exactly.
So we'll get the point.
Might as well.
So what kind of things, I know you mentioned the Chase Ink, you mentioned a few
Mhm.
other things. What do you see right now as like really attractive cards for business owners?
Yeah, and I think it's split between two routes, right? If you're going more the cashback route, it's going to be the Capital Ones, the Chase cards, just because they have high minimum spends and then high bonuses. For example, I just opened the One Spark Cash Plus business. It was spend 30,000 points, get I think 200,000 points, plus every half a million you spend, you get another $2,000 back in your pocket. And it's 2% back on everything. So it's very simple, right? It's just, use this card for everything, use this card for everything. You can get a lot of value back. On the travel reward side, it's a little bit different. I know American Express is culturally very popular, is a huge icon, but it's actually really bad for cash back. For Capital One Chase, when you redeem 1 point, it equals 1 cent. In American Express, 1 point is only 0.6 cents. So the only reason why you would go on the American Express route is to get travel points, because then those points can be valued even more. 1 point can be 2 cents, 3 cents, 4 cents, and so on. Sometimes even 10 cents or 10 times the value. So the American Express Business Platinum is obviously a huge favorite because of that. You can get so many points from your normal spend.
Yeah, I'm going to take a little side trip here, but that American, what was it? The Capital One Spark Plus rewards. How do they come up with these names, right? Like, it's like, I feel like they're like the pharmaceutical companies out here. Like, let's just put some like flashy words and some pluses and platinums and golds and diamonds in these names. Like,
exactly. I actually did a name analysis, and platinum is so popular. Advantage Platinum, American Express Platinum, and Gold. There's a Robinhood Gold, Amex Gold, all these funny shiny names because they want people to get that card.
Associate them with value. But it's really funny though, because it's like, you can pick out a credit card name from like a mile away. It's like, what's an Advantage Plus? Oh, it's a credit card.
Yeah, rewards, points, miles, up, all those words.
Yeah, it's really funny, but that's how it goes. I see your social media and all that, and I see you traveling all around the world, right? You're constantly flying places, and the points are a big part of what allows that. So exactly. I know a lot of people know that you can use your points for travel. Mm-hmm. But what are some of the other perks you see with travel, with hotels, that don't necessarily come to mind, like, booking a flight through your Capital One app, right?
Yeah, I think this is a huge mistake a lot of people make, is they use their points and book through the credit card travel portal, whether it's Chase Travel Portal, Amex Travel Portal, because then your points, again, are only worth 1-to-1. You're paying for the revenue cash flight or hotel for the same price as the points you would redeem for cash back. What I do is I transfer these points to different airlines or hotels for greater value. So I'll give you a quick example. My wife and I flew Qatar Airways business class in Q Suites, the best business class in the world because it's a double bed in the sky. That flight round trip for one person costs between $8,000 to $12,000. Mm-hmm. Some of us can afford that. I personally cannot. Unless I want to withdraw all my savings. But with points, it was only 170,000 points per person. 170,000 points, if you redeem for cash back, is only $1,700. But instead, I booked this round trip flight with caviar, champagne in the air, unlimited on-time dining. That whole experience was free because I used my points for really good value. So those points, 170,000 points that was really worth $1,700 for cash back became that $12,000 flight. So I think that's the secret, is what I help with my clients is finding those redemptions, making sure your points are worth way more than they actually are.
Yeah, it's really interesting because there's a lot of people out there, it's not just you, like a lot of influencers and stuff use the credit card points to, get some of the experiences and things that they do. Also airport lounges. That's a big one. That people don't think about. Like, how many times you go to the airport and you spend $50 on food because the coffee's $8 and
not anymore.
No, not anymore. Airport lounge. So, there's lots of advantages just besides like going into the Capital One app and booking a Frontier flight to Texas, right?
Exactly. Way more value than that. Yeah.
The world's a lot bigger.
Exactly. If you're spending $1 million or even, let's say, even $120,000 a month, you should be flying for free almost all the time. You should be hitting up all the airport lounges, getting free hotel stays, just because you're going to have so many points, especially if you optimize the earning.
Yeah. So what are some ways that you can optimize your points beyond just the classic, let's find a credit card that gives the most points, right? Like, what are some strategies? Like, I know you just said about like transferring to the airlines. I know some people get like one type of card, they transfer the points to the other type of card, and then they like, do some sort of wizardry,
Yeah, I think with the specialty of having a small business is that you can also have employee cards, and banks like American Express will allow you to add employee cards and give you a bonus for that. So not only do you can just get your one card and then a bunch of employee cards that will help you accumulate more bonus points. Again, I said before, just going and getting more cards when you can responsibly, at a good rate, will always give you a huge sign-up bonus and give you way more value. Another way is through shopping portals. So there's websites like Kudos, Rakuten, Top Cashback. There's a whole bunch, there's a whole list. And they will, if you're shipping, let's say for UPS, FedEx, whatever, they'll give an extra 1%, 2%. And during Black Friday, it's usually like 10% back. So not all vendors are on there, but it's another way to just get a little bit extra, either cash back or for Rakuten, it's actually points. Yeah. So those are a couple different ways. There's also smaller scale things like merchant offers. So different coupons that are added to your card that you need to, click accept, things like that. It's basically the digital version of couponing.
Yeah, that's really interesting. That's something that completely went over my head and I never really thought about. But yeah, some companies have dozens of employees, sometimes even hundreds of employees. Yeah. And if you count the credit card points times all the different authorized credit card carriers, that's insanely scalable, right? Like, like those numbers get pretty big pretty fast.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure the banks have some sort of limit, but you can just get another card and add more employees. So it really should be endless.
Yeah, because like I said, I'm used to just having a couple people with cards, but like I said, it becomes infinitely scalable as your business scales. So like you said, the difference on 1% versus 1.5% versus 2% when you're going times, let's say, an organization of 100 people. Yeah. Could be massive. Like, it's really, really valuable. So I know you've been doing this for a while. What size companies do you usually see getting the most benefits from credit cards?
That's a good question. I work with kind of all sizes. Well, I guess not like multi-million-dollar companies, right. But like we're calling them small business owners. I help one-man shops. I help 50 people organizations and more. What a lot of these credit card influencers do online is they give blanket advice, but the problem is, as we're alluding to, is each size is different. How much you're spending each month can vary. If you're an online coach, your expenses might just be $500 per month. So the types of credit cards and the speed at which you can get them are going to vary widely versus, again, someone spending $1 million per month. You can get status on almost every airline and hotel just from that spend, right? So there's going to be a lot of different strategies. I work and try to personalize it for what's good for your company and what's good for you. If you're going to travel a lot, let's look at travel cards. If you don't travel at all, why do you need travel cards? Let's get some good cash back to put some more money in your wallet.
Yeah, I was thinking about that kind of like with the categories thing, right? Like sometimes it makes sense to have one card and it's easy to manage and things like that. But like if you're somebody that entertains a lot, right? Maybe it makes sense to go get one of these cards that give extra points for dining experience. Yeah, dining. Right? If you're somebody that books a lot of flights and hotels, maybe it makes sense to get a hotel card, right? Something that gives you 10x points, right? And that's really where the whole like specialized nature of like sitting down with somebody who knows their stuff about credit cards and can optimize that really comes in.
Yeah. And then for larger companies, I work with a lot of executive assistants as well. They're like the bread and butter, they know everything that's happening in the company, and they're the best people I work with in terms of helping the company and the CEO or other, owners kind of manage that portfolio of credit cards.
Yeah, that's an interesting insight there. The executive assistant's probably the one doing a lot of these bookings, a lot of the scheduling, a lot of the, those
putting on the spend.
And, that's somebody that could help optimize this within your organization, especially as you begin to scale and as you start exploring different types of cards and different types of, ways to pile up these points.
Exactly. Because, your time is valuable as an owner. You don't want to be choosing, which card do I use for this expense or, any of that stuff. You just want to say, give me my cash or give me my free trip, right? And that's what exactly I try to help out with. Don't worry about all the other credit card stuff. Again, working with EA is especially helpful, but I, can get you the right credit card and all that stuff. And then when you want to book, let's go. So I try to make it as easy as possible.
Awesome. So if you had one tip to kind of wrap this all up with and say, if you take one thing away, what would it be?
The one thing I would say is review your credit card portfolio, earn at least 2% back on everything. You don't have to chase all these fancy cards. As long as you get, let's say, a Citi Double Cash, a Capital One Venture, it earns 2x back on everything. So you don't have to think that you're earning or you're not optimizing. At the very least, you're getting double the amount of points you normally would. So that's the one thing I would leave with if you don't take anything else away from this conversation.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. How can the listeners find you if they want to work with you, and where can they find more of your content and the cool stuff you're doing?
Yeah. The best way to reach me directly is matthew@woohoogroup.com by email. I have Instagram, woohoo-group, and I've actually created a special landing page for all of your audience, just so they can get a deep dive. I specifically made some guides for you. One's for cashback, one's for travel, so you know exactly what cards to get to start out with. I'll send the link over to you, Bill, just so you can post it somewhere. But I want to help your customers optimize their travel and cashback. So that's the best way to find me.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll make sure you get that stuff out in the show notes. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm sure, people really found this valuable, especially, like I said, if you're a 3PL and you're out there and you're spending, almost $1 million a month on shipping labels. You should really try to optimize your points and get something back.
Yeah, maximize those rebates.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us on this episode of Disruptive Minds.